I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 120, Roadsters. Released in 1999, this game was developed and published by Titus Interactive. Oh geez, I recognize that name. They made me play Superman 64. I try to go in with a fresh perspective to these games, but it's hard to ignore that giant red flag. Still, this is a completely different genre, so maybe it'll be different this time. I personally had never heard of this one before, and sometimes that can be a bad thing. There's been a lot of racing titles in the challenge so far, and there's plenty more to come. Let's get into it. The main single player mode in this game is Roadster Trophy mode, so that's what we'll be doing to beat it. The first thing to do is pick our driver. The devs created a bunch of original characters to really make you feel like there's some sort of storyline, I guess. There's Ricky, Angelica, Alex, Mei Ling, Mr. Slim, Linda, Billy, and Raina. I went with Mr. Slim because that's a cool name. Also, look at that awesome haircut. So in this mode, you've got cash you can use to purchase and upgrade new cars. You start in the C class, so you're limited to cars in that class. There's a bunch of real sports cars in the game. The C class offers the Renault Spider, the Scarlet SK Roadster, Alfa Romeo Spider, Fiat Barchetta, Mindstar 200R, Equinox EX 280, Lotus Elise, Ibella Zeta Mark III, Lotus 7, Jugatsu JS4, Ginetta G33C, Alfa Romeo Giulia, Barato Millennium, and the Toyota MR Spider. Phew, that's a lot of cars. You start with 45,000 bucks, and it costs 20,000 to enter the league, so there's not much choice of what car to pick. Guess we're going with the Renault Spider. There's a menu to change your car's settings before a race, but it said I needed to purchase a suspension kit and gear kit in order to adjust those. But why even offer it then? The first track is Tudor Village. When I saw the cars, I thought for sure this would attempt to have realistic driving physics, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The car turning is very much arcade-like, almost like Mario Kart. I've said it so many times in this challenge, but I much prefer unrealistic driving over realistic. I can just go drive my car if I want that, you know? A cool thing about this game is the mini-map rotates as you drive through the course. I thought it was kind of nice because it keeps your car in the center of it. It makes it easy to find where you are. But yeah, this first track's just a nice scenic drive through an autumn forest. Feels kind of like a medieval setting, but also not. I took first place here rather easily after 5 laps. It shows some stats for the race, then the good part, how much money we got. For first place, I received $9,000, nearly half my entry fee. You also get points in a standard Grand Prix-like format, think Mario Kart. Now that I had some cash to work with, I could upgrade. I think the thing you should always go for first is the gearbox and suspension upgrades. This lets you configure those aspects of your car's settings, which definitely helps out. It's kind of a cool system, it reminds me of the Gran Turismo games. Now it's on to the second race, Rocket Base. Season 1 has 6 races in total. This track's like a tropical island environment. You can even see the rocket in the background every now and then. I actually really like the aesthetics of the tracks in this game. They all feel quite different, although some of the things you see are strange. There's just a random church in this one, like that's so out of place. Driving on this track is real easy other than one specific spot. This turn is so sharp and I just struggled to navigate it. Definitely needed to just slow down and take it easy because that's way better than slamming into the wall and coming to a complete stop. If you're wondering, there's no damage to your car in this. There may be a mechanic where the more you hit things, the less value your car has when you sell it, but I'm not sure. I took third place in this one. Only 5,000 bucks this time. First place was so far ahead of me. Race 3 is Area 51. Oh shoot, there's gonna be aliens and lasers and stuff, or maybe just a random tank chilling in the Nevada desert. Isn't Area 51 supposed to be an air research base? Why are there tanks? This track also helped me realize the arcade physics only go so far. If you go full speed into a tight enough turn, you'll completely spin out. Guess I need to use the brakes after all. The military stuff isn't all that surprising, but why is this ancient temple here? Maybe that ancient aliens guy would be interested in this place. It's filled with lava, and I don't remember Nevada having any active volcanoes. Now, you might be wondering, does this game have rubber banding? As far as I can tell, it doesn't. If I did really well the entire time, I'd stay in first by a lot. However, if I screwed up a bunch, the computer would pull further and further ahead of me. Speaking of which, I knocked out first place here quite easily. Race number 4 is Temple. At first, I was disappointed with this track. It looked like I was going to be racing in a near clone of Rocket Base. But as the track went on, I realized that couldn't be further from the truth. It opens up into this temple and there's a huge boulder on the ceiling. I thought it was going to crush me. Indiana Jones would love this place. I obliterated everyone in this race, taking first by over 20 seconds. The 5th track is Oil Field. You can kind of see how they reuse assets for these tracks. This place sure looks a lot like Area 51, but you know what? It has enough unique things to make them all feel like their own environment. All the bridges, power lines, and the oil refinery makes this feel like a new course. Plus, there's the tunnels and bridges too. I'm telling you, I enjoyed how the tracks looked. I once again annihilated my competition, adding another first place finish to my resume. The game was definitely starting to feel a bit easy. The final race of this season is Ski Resort. It is very important to set your car's tires to studded here. If you don't, you're honestly pretty screwed. There's snow tires for when you're driving on a regular road with snow and studded tires for when it's icy. When I went to turn, the car just did not comply. Braking is pretty rough as well, as you slide a lot before slowing down very much. I was getting so destroyed this entire time. At the end of the first lap, I was almost in last place. But then something wild happened. My rank shot up from 7th to 1st instantly. It turned out all the other cars went into pit road. That's right, this game has a pit road despite not having any damage. Why is it there? Well, you can change your tires. And that's literally it. I was so ahead now, like nearly an entire lap. And wouldn't you know it, on the next lap change, they went into the pit again. What a bunch of idiots. I think it's because it quit snowing. Like, yeah, I know I had snow instead of spiked tires, but man, going into the pit is just not the play. I ended up getting ahead by well over an entire lap, so I decided to see what this pit business was all about. It just asks you which tires you'd like to swap to, so I picked studded. There's a pit crew that comes out and does a weird pose when they're done. Man, the studded tires are like a night and day difference. It changed this course to normal driving physics, essentially. I won by so much, probably over an entire minute. And that was the 6th and final race. I was in first place for the entire season. It shows a congratulatory image with what all you unlocked. $15,000 bonus prize, category B cars available, as well as 2 new tracks, Docklands and Lumber Mill. Heck yeah, dude. Now it is time to decide what to do with all that cash I'd earned. I'm over these lame category C cars. It just so happens that one of my viewers, the Porsche File, really wanted me to drive the TVR Chimera 500 with red paint. Yeah, sure, I'll just buy it, and apparently the entry fee for the next division is $50,000. Ugh, that means I've got to do another run of the first one. Plus, I sold my old car, so now I've got to buy a new one. You know, I could have planned that a bit better. So I just did another run to get enough cash to advance to the next division. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and music of the game. I thought the graphics were pretty nice, especially the cars when you're browsing them for purchase. During gameplay, the textures drop in quality noticeably, but the frame rate is smooth. It feels like they hit a sweet spot of having pretty decent graphics alongside a stable frame rate. This might even be running at 30 frames per second from what I can tell. The music, on the other hand, is pretty forgettable. It's just generic songs, kinda sounds like drum and bass, but with electric guitar thrown in. The music loops so often too that you mostly just try to tune it out. So with that out of the way, I bought the TVR and I had $300 to spare entering the next division. This one had 8 races, presumably the old ones and then the 2 new tracks. And the first track was a new one, Docklands. Man, right away I could just notice how much faster I was going. The turning physics still felt about the same, but since I was going so fast, I was slamming into walls a lot more often. It wasn't just the speed that made me hit walls though. Sometimes I couldn't tell where exactly a turn was leading me to. Mainly the wall near the lap change. Looking back at this footage though, it doesn't seem all that dark. I think the monitor I was using at the time was darker than what I'm used to. There was this one specific spot with a 90-degree turn where if you didn't turn in time, you'd drive into a dead end and be surrounded by 3 walls. On the 3rd lap, I launched another car into that trap. No recovering from that one. That guy had the last lap though, as I accidentally drove into the pit on the 4th lap. It's such awful design that if you continue straight, you end up in the pit. This track's the only one where you had to avoid it. That's definitely a reset. I did end up getting first place on my next go by quite a bit. My prize was $12,000. You know, I kind of expected more. The entry fee increased by 250%, but the max prize per race only about 33%. Whatever. I used my newfound cash to upgrade this TVR. The exhaust upgrade increases engine output by 5%. Not sure if that's just top speed, acceleration, or some combination of the two. The second race was conveniently the other new track, Lumber Mill. This one's a snowy environment, so I knew I needed those studded tires. You struggle a bit driving with over-prepared tires, but trust me, it's way better than having like street tires in the snow or something like that. There was one part of this track where my car even got some air. It's pretty underwhelming compared to something like San Francisco Rush, but hey, it's neat. Plus, there's this train that drives alongside the track. Might be the train from Dencha de Go. I was having a tough time to get ahead of everyone when the best thing ever happened. It began snowing, and all the other cars went into the pit. You fools! You should have over-prepared like me. It's kind of hilarious that this happens, because you don't have to drive well at all to win when they do that. I just destroyed them like it wasn't even close. Well, now that's the 2 new tracks down. Dang, we've got to do all those old ones. It's at least slightly different experience because you're going so much faster. I bought a new engine as well, making this car even more powerful. Once I'd finished it all up, I was in first place with 60 total points. This gave me a nice $30,000 bonus, as well as unlocking the Class A cars and a new track called Titus Park. It also allowed tracks to be in reverse during the league. Oh, that always trips me up so much. However, I still had a bit of grinding to go before all that. The Class A cars are so expensive, and the Division 1 entry fee is $100,000. During the grind, this funny thing happened though. No, I hit a corner! Oh, I can't turn around, man. Yes! Yes, dude, that was sick. Love it when the computer helps me out like that. Skipping ahead a couple hours, I had $207,000 to my name. Time to get fancy. In Class A, there's a Vinghiati VM8, Flame F1, Mindstar 600, Arrowhead Falcon, Victory Desire, Arbonne Nova 12, Equinox Apogee 7, Velocima Raptor, Vinghiati VM12, and the Ford Indigo. You know, I'm rich, but not that rich. I went with the VM8, felt like a solid purchase. This car was so dang fast, man. The TVR was topping out around 250 kilometers per hour, and this thing was pushing over 290. It's so hard to brake enough with this thing, like, I just want to go fast. Good thing this game doesn't have damage, cause I would have wasted a bunch of money. It's unfortunate there's not new tracks for every level of competition, but I guess that's the nature of racing titles. It'd be kind of insane to design 30 tracks or whatever. I was dominating every single race. Sometimes only because they went to the pit, but who cares? I got so ahead that the points started to not matter. I knew what I had to do. I turned that car around and rammed into whoever I could. Oh my god, that collision was amazing. It's so awesome that you can just pin them against the wall like that. The game has multiplayer, so I have to imagine someone did this to their little brother back in the day. Oh my god. After knocking out all 9 races, it was time for the big one, Titus Park. This one definitely feels like the longest track. It's got a bunch of rocky cliffs with waterfalls, all that jazz. A nice scenic little area, you know? Well, then it starts to change a bit, and yep, that's a T-Rex. I think Titus Park is a play on words for Jurassic Park. But then there's a roller coaster after that, so who knows honestly. Maybe we're like at Universal or something. I decided to go out in style on this one. Since I was up so much, I'd go into pit road to finish the last lap and see what the game did. It has you select your tires, then it immediately says you win. Kind of jank, but glad the game didn't crash, that would have sucked. I got a bonus of $60,000 for taking first place, and it now informed me I had unlocked mirror mode. Ah, the classic way to bring new content to a racing game. That's literally all the acknowledgement you get for winning the game. Kind of lame, but whatever. The credits didn't even play. So the game had a few cheat codes that I decided to play around with after finishing up. If you enter Chopper as your name, it gives you the worst camera angle in existence. Essentially, you're racing as if you're watching your car from a helicopter. How the heck are you supposed to achieve anything like this? Not to mention how disorienting it feels. Setting my name to Big Wheels gives me, well, big wheels. Come on devs, bring back goofy cheats like this in your games. We miss them. I don't think these cars would do so well with the tires being this big. You know what? I lied earlier, because if you set your name to Car Radio, it gives you the worst camera by far. I think this is supposed to be like a third-person point of view and you're watching an RC car race. My god, this is atrocious. There is no way someone could win a race with this view. Setting my name to Extra Res unlocked a secret menu option to turn on high res mode. Kind of strange, it adds really thick black borders to the edges of the screen, but man, the graphics get so much better. The frame rate definitely drops below what it was before, but it's not all that bad. I think it'd be fine to play like this. Finally, I set my name to Skywalker and all the cars were hovering. Yeah, this game could never be Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It doesn't change the physics at all if you're wondering. But yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it, my journey to beating Roadsters. This game's honestly not half bad. The Titus label certainly would turn off many players, but I'd say give it a try. It's not great, but it's not bad either. If you're looking to add a new racing title to your collection, this would be a decent option. I really like the different looks of all the tracks, the driving physics are a nice mix of arcade with a small slice of realism, and the frame rate is nice and smooth. There's quite a big car selection and it's pretty fun to unlock new things. The progression feels cool. I gave it a 5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 4 out of 10 for difficulty. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a sneak peek at the next game. We got 270 games on the list. Could be anything. Let's see what we get. 3, 2, 1, go. 167. What's that? Oh, sick. We're playing the next NFL Quarterback Club game, which is NFL QB Club 98. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.